Hello and good morning to all of you, my dear YouTube viewers and my dear friends. So today I will discuss about then one of the most important topic, that is the thermodynamics as well as the bioenergetics. So in this topic I will explain all the different hints, okay, not to elaborate all the things but all the hint or clues about the topic, okay. So without any delay, let's get started. So what is thermodynamics? So we know that it is the study of changes which occurs due to the transfer of heat energy from one system to another system. So I guess that you will know about, or you will aware about the what is the system, what is the surroundings. It is the basic thing, and the heat transfer from one system to another system, and by which the changes occurs inside that system is the study of thermodynamics, okay. So basically thermodynamics is a study of heat transfer from one system to another. So generally, what is a system? Okay, I will explain it. So what is a system? Now system is a uh, is a is a a particular area in which our interest of study is gone, okay. So that is called the system, okay. So what is surrounding? And apart from the system, what are the remaining part are known as the surrounding part, okay. What is that is known as the surrounding. So in whole total, when we say about our universe, it is the combination or the yes, it is the combination or the addition of the system as well as the surrounding part, okay. When the system part and the surrounding part get added or get combined to form the universe, okay. So this is the general idea of the universe and the system and surroundings. Generally, there are the three laws are implemented on the universal system, okay, or the universe, ठीक. So these are the conservation of energy, and another one, the entropy increases till the maximum, and the third law is perfectly oxidized or the crystalline solids have the zero entropy at 0 Kelvin, okay. So these are the general laws are implemented in the universal system. So what are the key points to remember about the energy? So the energy will use the unit is two. There are two units we are using for signifying the energy, that is calorie. Shortcut, it is written as CAL, and another one is joule, that is written in J in capital, okay. So 1 calorie is equals to 4.18 joule, and 1 joule is equals to 0.239 calorie. It is a very important thing to know about that. What are the relationship between the joule and Kelvin? So 1 joule is equals to Kelvin into 0.239. Okay, you have to remember the things. So 1 joule equal to calorie into 0.293. Okay. So next one is the way of transfer of energy. So there are two ways for the transfer of energy, that is one is heat and another is work. So energy can be transferred into the heat, okay, and energy can be converted to the work also, okay. So we can convert the or transfer the energy into two forms. So next one, the properties of the matter. So when we are talking about the properties of the matter, there are two types of properties. That one is extensive properties and another one is intensive property. So what is extensive property? So it is a property of the material which does not changes, which changes with the amount of the material. So that means if the amount of material is increases, the extensive properties also changes, okay. That means when we are talking about the mass, you suppose there are 5 kg uh, of a particle in that place, okay, in any place. So when we add some extra amount of that particles or material in that place, it increases as well as its mass also increases. So when the mass increases, its volume also increases, and when the volume also increases, the number of moles also increases. So these are the so the related properties. That means it depends on the amount of the materials or the particles. Okay, so when the amount of particle is increases, it is also increases. When the amount of particle is decreases, it is also in decreasing order. Okay, so number 2 is intensive property. So it is a kind of property of a material which does not depend on the concentration, which does not depend on the amount of material which is present on any places. Okay, that is the example of temperature. Okay, when we add some more number of moles or more number of masses of one kind of material, and again its temperature doesn't go on increasing or doesn't go on decreasing. Okay, and the concentration, when you add the more number of same things in the same places, okay, the concentration never increases, as well as the pH also never increasing with the addition of more amount of material. So pH also does not depend on the amount of material. So these are known as the intensive property. So intensive property is the property of material which doesn't change on the changes of the amount of material. Okay. So after the internal energy, we will indicate it as a capital E or capital U. Okay. So the internal energy is of generally two types: kinetic energy, another is potential energy. So generally, kinetic energy is a energy which is converting to the work also, and potential energy is the stored form of energy of an material. Okay, so this is the internal energy, and when we derive a relationship for the internal energy changes, that is del U, we can use Q plus W, where Q is the amount of energy and W is the work done on the system. Okay, so this is all about the internal energy changes expression. So we can also write it as a W equal to work done equal to, we know that, force into displacement. So we can write it as force into displacement, and again we can write it W equal to, okay, P into del V. Okay, we can write it as W equal to P del V, we know it. Okay, so when in the place of W we can write P del V, that means we can, the expression get derived as changed del U equal to Q plus P del V. Okay, so after that, enthalpy, and what is enthalpy? So enthalpy is the heat content of a system at a constant pressure. You have to remember this, it is the constant pressure, and heat content of a system is measured, that is called the enthalpy. It is indicated as capital H. So when we derive for the enthalpy change del H, okay, that means the small change of enthalpy is equals to del U plus P del V. This is all the expression. Okay, after that, entropy. So what is entropy? Now entropy is the hazardness of the system. That means it measures the randomness of a system. It is indicated by S, capital S. Okay, so it increase with the temperature. However, the magnitude also increase. Okay, so when the temperature of a system go on increasing, the entropy also go on increasing. Okay, and when the temperature go on decreasing, its entropy also decreasing. That means in the increasing of temperature, what happens, the particle are go on random moving. Okay, so when the particle are on the random moving, the temperature increases. Okay, and at that moment entropy also increases, and when the temperature go on decreasing order, the hazardness or the randomness of a particle are go on decreasing. After that, the entropy also go on decreasing in order. So when we are deriving expression for the entropy, that is del S equal to capital Q divided by T. Okay, so when we are also writing about the changes, okay, that means del S equal to capital del S by T, that means the change of enthalpy divided by time taken. Okay, so in the entropy also helpful to predict the reversible and irreversible reaction, that means the spontaneous process and non-spontaneous process. Okay, so how can we predict that? Generally, for the reversible process, del S is equal to 0. Okay, so when the del S is equal to 0, then we can say the process is reversible. Okay, that means both your forward and backward reaction continues. Okay, so when the del S is greater than 0, that means it is in positive, so then we can say the process is irreversible. Okay, and we can say the process is also in spontaneous. Okay, got it. So when the process is go on irreversible mode, we can say the process is spontaneous. And when the del S is equals to 0, then it is known as the reversible process, and it is also known as the non-spontaneous process. So both kinds of names we have to remember. Okay, in order to crack the different competitive examination. Okay, so you have to remember, when there is the irreversible process, we can say it is a spontaneous reaction, and when there is the reversible process, we can say it non-spontaneous reaction. Okay, generally there are different factors which also modify the entropy. Okay, that means the entropy is basically basically totally directly dependent on the concentration. When the concentration increases, the entropy increases. When the concentration goes in decreasing, the entropy also goes in decreasing. Okay, and there is an indirect relationship between the polymerization or the number of bonds in that compound. Okay, suppose there is a compound having the more number, having a lot of number of bonds. Okay, so when there is a lot of numbers of bonds are present, the entropy go on decreasing. Okay, and when the number of bonds are very less, so you can say the entropy is very high of that compound, of that system. Okay, so there are the two different factors which depends on which depend the entropy. Okay, next one, the spontaneous of the process I have already told about. Okay, so spontaneous of the process, it is basically for the entropy and enthalpy. Okay, we have to remember the things that when the del S is negative, that means the exothermic process. Okay, so when it is the spontaneous, na, when del S is negative, or when the del S or the change of entropy is in positive version. Okay, that is we can say the process is in spontaneous mode. Okay, the process is in spontaneous mode. Got it? So when the del S is positive, we can say it is in spontaneous reaction and irreversible reaction. Okay, and when the del H, that means the change of enthalpy, is gone positive, or that is less than 0. Okay, that is the negative term. Okay, when the change of enthalpy is in negative, or exothermic reaction is going on, then we can say the spontaneous of the reaction occurs. Okay, that means we have to apply no amount of energy. Okay, for the for continuation of that reaction. Okay, so there are some exceptions also. In order to we have to remember the things to crack the different competitive exams, and you have to remember the thing, exception are asked in the examinations. Okay, so what is the exceptions? So there are three exceptions. When the ice going changing of water, the enthalpy is positive, but the process is spontaneous. Okay, you have also remember the things. Okay, when the water is gone in vapor, that means the del H is positive, but it is a spontaneous reaction. And when water goes to convert into the ice form, the del S is negative. But in case of del S is negative, we can say the process is not spontaneous. Okay, but here this we can observe that this process is spontaneous in nature. Okay, in the different polar regions. Okay, when the water is gone converting the ice form. Okay, when there is less than the your entropy, but still the process is in spontaneous mode. So to resolve or to solve all the exceptions, the concept of Gibbs free energy we have to introduce. Okay, so the Gibbs free energy also describe about the why the exception are occurs, why the spontaneity occurs in these situations. Okay, so this is for today. I'll later I will explain all the different things in the later videos. So thank you, be safe, keep reading. Thanks for watching.